everybody. My name is Rachel Bowler. I am a personal trainer, turbo kick instructor, Beachbody coach, owner of Busy Mama Fitness, and mom to a very precarious toddler. Today I want to talk about something that I get asked all the time, which is how do you get your abs back after having a baby? And a lot of people make this big mistake, which is that they start off with crunches. And honestly, crunches work the rectus abdominis. That's what gives you that six pack. But if you don't work the core muscles underneath, which is your transverse abdominis, that's what pulls in your waist. If you don't work that out first, then working just the rectus abdominis, the six pack, it's gonna make you look bulky, and that's not what we want. The transverse abdominis basically goes all the way around and it pulls in your belly like a corset. It's also what supports your spine. So you know how when you first have a baby, you kind of have that weak, unstable feeling in your midsection and it's really easy to get low back pain? That's because your transverse abdominis muscle is the one that gets really stretched out of shape. So before we start getting the ab vanity muscles back, we want to work on getting that transverse abdominis into really good working order. So tightening it up, getting it to really hold in that spine. And another benefit is that it pulls the belly button back, which helps reduce some of that sagging. So this is going to be a really beginner level workout, but I'm going to start at a beginner level and I'm going to work up to intermediate. And what you can do is when you watch this video, if you want to do some of these workouts, start with the beginner and then add on every time until you're able to do more. So the first workout that I'm going to do is a swimmer. It's a Pilates workout. You might be familiar with it. It works coordination. It actually works your shoulder girdle as well as your entire core. So what you want to do is lie down on your stomach. Okay. And I'll move back so that I'm on screen. You can never tell where the camera is actually pointing. So you're going to lie with your arms out in front of you, about shoulder width apart, and your legs are going to be about hip width. You're going to lift up one arm, so I'm starting with my right, and I'm going to lift the opposite leg at the same time, and notice where my head is, and I'm lowering down. Then I'm going to do my left arm with the opposite leg, and lower it down. The entire time I'm doing this, I'm pulling in my belly button towards my spine. The way that you suck in your belly when you're trying to fit into a pair of jeans that's too tight, that helps engage your core. And over time, as you start getting stronger, you'll be able to actually find those muscles to isolate them and flex them. But when your abs have been stretched out, it can be harder to flex. So just sucking in your belly, that's a kind of a cheat way to do it. So this is a good starting move. And you may feel it in your butt a little bit, and that's fine. That's normal. And then because this is in your lower back, when you're done, push back into child's pose to release. And then we're going to move on to a plank. So planks work your abs against gravity. And there's a few different ways of doing it. I'm going to suggest starting off on your knees and just holding this for as long as you can. When you can hold this for 30 seconds, then work up to holding this for 10. Then drop down to your knees for 10. Back up. Back down. Okay, now we're going to take this up a notch to keep it interesting, because honestly, just going back and forth planking, I get kind of bored. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to do this on my knees, so that way you see that it can be done on your knees, and also because I've got this lovely boot on, which makes it difficult for me to plank or push up on my toes right now, because my feet aren't even. So what we're going to do is we're going to start up here and keep those abs engaged. Now we're going to move down 1, 2. Hold it. Now back up. 1, 2. You might have to readjust to get your palms underneath your shoulders. And then back down. And you can pick up the pace. Now let's turn that back into child's pose just to release it from our lower back. Okay, I've got one more for you, and this one uses a stability ball, which is a really great ab tool. It's also good if you have kids because children seem to love these. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna sit, and we're gonna use our feet planted on the floor to just kind of roll your butt around in a circle. And then switch directions. While I'm doing this, I'm keeping my abs really engaged. So that belly button is sucked in. And I feel this in my obliques, in my lower back, in my transverse abdominis, and even in my rectus abdominis. Now say I just want to focus on my obliques, which are basically the walls of the six pack. They are basically what give you those indentations on the side and the little bulge right here. And you can start just kind of shifting your booty side to side. You can also do the top just by leaning. And if you want to get creative, or if you've got really good coordination, you can lean and shift your butt. This is also a really good way, even if you're more advanced in terms of strength, to kind of figure out where your weak spots are. Because a lot of us, especially as you start getting more trim, you'll notice that you have some parts of your abs that show up really well and really pop, but then there's other parts that they don't really see so well. Often that's kind of in the middle. So the stability ball, kind of moving around on it and using your abs and just keeping that work in your core, you can really start to figure out where your weak spots are. Like mine are really in the middle abs because like crunches, they work the top. Side planks and planks work transverse abdominis and they also work your obliques, but it's hard to get the middle of that rectus abdominis. So this sort of helps me isolate some of the spots. Like I'm just kind of going around a circle right now because I really feel a burn right here doing this. And you know what? The first time you do this on a stability ball, it might not burn at all because it takes a while to really find those muscles, but the more you do it and the more you keep coming back and making a point to fit this in, like every day or even every other day, the more you're gonna feel it. You're gonna wake up those muscles. So I'm trying to decide, but you know what, I'm gonna show you one more thing while I've got this guy out. So I have this workout that everybody always asks me about that is really great for abs after having a baby. And it's a stability ball plank. I'm using a TV so I can see myself, make sure I'm aligned, which is hard. I don't have mirrors in here. So you can either hold it up here, and just doing this is a challenge. But if you can take your foot and tap the floor, and just doing 8 sets each leg. Woo. That's gonna really tone up your transverse abdominis quickly. However, that's an exercise that you need to work up to. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy with the boot on. So if you can work up to that and you can get up to doing 3 sets of 16 reps, like every day or every other day, your waistline's gonna suck in like that. Anyway, I hope this helps you and gives you some ideas for some different ab workouts you can do, and also gives you hope that even if you've had kids, multiple kids, you can get your abs and your waistline back. It's just gonna take some work in the kitchen and in the gym.